Good morning, students. Today we will do the topic of treatment of certain items of administration. Certain treatment of certain items of administration overheads. First of all is accounts and cost department expenses. In small concerns, administration overheads includes expenses of accounts and cost department also. But in large concerns, the expenditure may require further analysis as grouping the expenses under a number of standing orders and under different centers. For example, the accounting of material expenses may be treated like that of the store expenses, and the cost of waste section may be apportioned to different cost centers either on the basis of number of employees or time spent for. Next is cost of preparing estimates and tendering. It may be treated as a part of the selling overheads if the items for which estimates are prepared are of standard nature. Or it may be treated as a part of manufacturing overheads if these are to be incurred to meet the customer significance. It can have no benefit from the expenditure also. As interest on capital. There is difference between the interest on borrowed capital such as loans and debentures and interest on own capital. Interest on loans and debentures is payable and the general opinion is to include it in cost accounts. Interest on own capital is not payable to any outsider. The charge is notional one and hence in practice it is excluded from the cost accounts. Next is the mechanized tabulation expenses. Such department prepares several types of tabulation statements and serves the various departments of the undertaking. Therefore, the expenses of such department may be apportioned to manufacturing, administration, selling and distribution departments, taking into consideration the nature and extent of services rendered by this department to each department. Expenses relating to computer may be treated in a similar way. Direct allocation to departments may be done wherever it is possible to identify the expenses to a particular department. And production department. The main function of this department is to plan the jobs, operation and products manufactured, to lay down production schedules for the various shops, to determine, coordinate and regulate the workload in the departments and to determine the quality and quantity of material required to be ordered and kept in stock. The department renders services to the production and service department cost centers, so the expenses may be apportioned either on the basis of direct labor hours or number of workers in the each cost center. Rent of owned premises. The rent paid for the hired or leased building is included in the cost, but the controversy is only in that case where the rent is not paid because the premises is owned by the proprietor. Though, in case of interest on capital are also applicable, but the consensus is that such rent should be included in cost accounts as assessment of rent is easier to have comparison if the premises are taken on the rent basis, to facilitate inter-firm comparison and to charge the rent to cost as it is more akin to depreciation. Administration expenses. Such expenses include audit fees, director fees, salaries, allowances, bonus, traveling expenses, etc. of the executives, legal expenses, postage, telephone and telegrams, printing and stationery, rent and rates, subscriptions and donations. Such expenses are merged together in cost accounts as general administration overheads, though in financial accounts these are classified separately. These are absorbed in cost by any of the method. For control, booking of expense to separate standing order numbers for comparison with the previous or budgeted figures may be helpful. There may be different type of taxes paid by the undertaking. Taxes or rates paid to the local bodies and levied on property owned by a concern may be apportioned to the manufacturing, administration, selling and distribution overheads on the basis of the use of property. Sale tax, octroi, excise and custom on goods purchased may be included in the store's expenses. Sales tax is collected on the behalf of the government may be credited to the suspense account, and as soon as it is paid to the government, such account should be debited. Interest paid to bank for loans taken to meet the need of the working capital. Though there is a lot of controversy about the inclusion of interest in cost accounts, but cost accountant opinion and practice is to include interest paid to bank for loans to meet the needs of working capital in the product cost. This is correct as it is a regular feature of modern business. Such expense on interest will be treated as an item of administration overheads.